Richard Williams sat in his luxurious black Mercedes-Benz Maybach, staring blankly at the city lights. The night was cold, but inside him was a storm hotter than fire. His heart ached, his mind was heavy, and his chest tightened with a pain he never thought he would feel. Just a few hours earlier, he had ended a relationship that had lasted for 4 years. Melissa, the woman he thought he would marry, the woman he trusted with his secrets, his future, his dreams, had betrayed him in a way that pierced him deeper than a knife. She had been cheating. Richard was not just any man. He was one of the youngest billionaires in the city, owner of Williams Group, a company that spread across real estate, oil, and finance. His face had been on magazines, his story told as an inspiration to young men and women. People envied him. People wanted to be him. But tonight, sitting alone in his car, he felt like the most miserable man alive. "Money can buy everything," he whispered bitterly, "but it cannot buy loyalty. It cannot buy true love." He pressed the accelerator and the car sped through the lonely highway. He didn't know where he was going. He only wanted to escape his thoughts, to escape the image of Melissa laughing in another man's arms. Richard turned into a less crowded street and slowed down. That was when he saw her. She stood by the roadside under the dim yellow light of a street lamp. She wore a short red dress that revealed more than it covered, her long braids falling over her shoulders. But what struck Richard was not her dress or her body, it was her face. There was a certain sadness in her eyes, a look that didn't match the work she was doing. She looked innocent, even in that place. Richard parked a few meters away, leaned back in his seat, and closed his eyes for a moment. "What am I even doing?" he murmured. He had never picked up a roadside worker in his life. He had always looked down on them, assuming they were nothing but liars and thieves. But tonight was different. Tonight he was broken and lonely. He rolled down the window. "Hey," he called softly. The young woman turned, hesitated for a second, then walked toward his car. She bent slightly, her perfume mixing with the night air. "Good evening, sir," she said, her voice low but surprisingly gentle. Richard studied her face closely. "What's your name?" "Beauty," she replied without blinking. Richard almost chuckled. "Beauty?" "Yes," she said firmly. "That's the name my mother gave me before she died." Something inside Richard shifted. There was no shame in her voice, no fake smile, just truth, raw and painful. He looked away, thinking. For the first time that night, he noticed how empty his house would be if he went back alone. The silence would crush him. "How much for the night?" he asked bluntly. Beauty's eyes flickered. She had heard the question 1,000 times, but something about the man asking it made her uncomfortable. His car was too expensive, his tone too calm, his face too sad. $200, she said quietly. Richard nodded. "Get in." Inside the car, Beauty sat carefully, her hands resting on her lap. Richard drove off without another word. The silence was heavy but not awkward. Beauty glanced at him a few times, trying to understand who he was. "Sir," she said softly after a while, "are you okay? You look troubled." Richard looked at her, surprised. No one had asked him that question in months, not even Melissa. "I'm fine," he lied. Beauty gave a faint smile. "People say that when they are not fine." Richard almost laughed. "You're very observant." "I've seen many men," Beauty replied. "Some come here drunk, some come here smiling, some come here broken. You are broken." Her words cut him deeply, but they were true. He didn't reply. Instead, he drove faster until they reached his mansion. When Beauty stepped out of the car and looked up at the massive white building with glass walls and bright lights, her mouth fell open. "This is your house," she whispered. "Yes," Richard said simply. Beauty's heart raced. She had never seen such wealth up close. For a moment, she forgot why she was there. "Wow," she breathed. Richard led her upstairs. He didn't want to talk, didn't want to think. He only wanted to forget Melissa for one night. Hours later, Richard finally drifted into deep sleep. His breathing was steady, his face calm for the first time in days. Beauty sat at the edge of the bed, staring at him. She could see the wallet on the nightstand. She could see the drawer half open, stacks of $100 bills inside. Her friend Stacy's voice echoed in her head. If you ever get into a rich man's house, don't waste time. Take something. That's the only way out of this poverty. Beauty's hands trembled, but she looked at Richard again. He looked so peaceful, so vulnerable, so human. No, she whispered to herself, I am not a thief. I may be poor, I may be on the street, but I will not destroy my soul. Quietly, she picked the agreed money from the table, placed it inside her small purse, and tiptoed out of the mansion. Beauty walked quickly back to her corner, holding her small purse tightly. She had not stolen a thing, only the money Richard had agreed to pay her. Her friend Stacy was already waiting. Stacy was a few years older, loud, flashy, and fearless. Unlike Beauty, Stacy had hardened her heart a long time ago. To her, the world was a battlefield. Either you took what you wanted, or you were crushed. When Stacy saw Beauty returning, she rushed toward her, her high heels tapping against the rough pavement. "Ah, Beauty," Stacy exclaimed. "You went with that rich man, Abby?" "I saw the car. My God, that car alone can feed this whole street for 1 year. So tell me, how much did you take? Don't tell me you came back empty-handed." Beauty sighed. She looked at Stacy and said quietly, "Stacy, that man is more than rich. I saw a huge bag of dollars in his room. Plenty money. But I did not take it. I only took the money we agreed." Stacy froze. She blinked in shock. "Wait, what did you just say?" "I said I saw a huge bag of dollars," Beauty repeated calmly. "But I only took the money we agreed on." Stacy screamed, "Beauty, are you mad? Do you know the kind of money that man has? Do you know who he is? That was your opportunity to change your life forever." Beauty looked down. "Yes, I saw the money. Plenty of it. But it is not mine." Stacy shook her head angrily. "Beauty, you are a fool. A very big fool. If I had the chance you had tonight, by now I would be booking my flight to America or London. I would leave this country and live like a queen. Do you know what you've done? You threw away your ticket out of poverty. You will die on this street, Beauty. Mark my words." Beauty's voice was low but steady. "I am not a thief, Stacy. Condition put me here, but I will not steal. One day my life will change. Without stealing." The next morning, Richard woke up slowly. The sun was already shining through the tall glass windows of his bedroom. He stretched his hands and rubbed his eyes. For a moment he forgot what had happened the night before. Then it hit him. The girl, Beauty, the street girl he brought home. He sat up quickly, his heart beating fast. He turned his head to the side and looked at the table where his wallet had been. It was still there. He opened it. All his credit cards were in place. Then he stood up, walked to the drawer where he had left the bag of dollars, and opened it. His mouth fell open. The money was still there. Neatly arranged, untouched, exactly the way he left it. Not a single note was missing. Richard sat back on the bed, holding his head. "This is unbelievable," he whispered. "How is this possible? I thought they said these girls steal. I thought they said they can never resist money." He walked up and down his room, still in shock. He had tested many people in his life, business partners, workers, even family members, and most of them had disappointed him when it came to money. But this girl, this stranger from the street, had left everything. Richard shook his head again. Maybe she was afraid. Maybe she didn't know the money was there, but then he remembered how close the bag had been. She must have seen it. In fact, she slept in the same room where the bag was lying half open. There was no way she didn't notice. Richard picked up his phone and dialed his best friend, Daniel, who had been his closest companion since university days. "Hello, Richard," Daniel answered in a sleepy voice. "Why are you calling so early?" "It's not even 9 o'clock. Danny, I need to tell you something," Richard said, still pacing his room. "What happened?" Daniel asked, suddenly alert. "Listen," Richard began. "Yesterday night I was feeling down. You know about Melissa, right?" Daniel sighed. "Yes, you already told me. That girl was never worth your time." "Forget her." Richard ignored the comment and continued. "Anyway, last night I went out. I carried a girl from the street." There was silence for a while. Then Daniel burst out laughing. "Richard, you? A whole you? A billionaire carrying a street girl? My God, what heartbreak can do, eh?" "Stop laughing," Richard said sharply. "I'm serious." Okay, Daniel said, still chuckling. So what happened? Did she steal your things? I hope she didn't poison you or something. That's the thing, Richard said slowly. She didn't take anything. Danny, I woke up this morning and the bag of dollars in my drawer was still there. My wallet is untouched. Everything is complete. Daniel went silent. Then he hissed. Richard, you are too soft. Don't tell me you believe this girl is honest. Maybe she didn't get the chance. Or maybe she plans to come back later. These girls cannot be trusted. Never. No, Danny, Richard argued. I'm telling you, she saw the money. She slept right there. If she wanted, she could have taken it all and disappeared. She only took the agreed money. Daniel laughed again, but this time it was bitter. My friend, don't be deceived. Maybe she was smart. Maybe she didn't want to take it because she feared you would catch her. Or maybe she thought the money was fake. Or maybe, just maybe, she already took something you haven't noticed yet. That's how they are. You must never trust them. Richard sat down on the bed again, confused. So you're saying it's impossible that she was just honest? Daniel replied firmly. Richard, let me advise you. Take that bag of money to the bank today. Let them count it for you. That's the only way to be sure it's complete. Don't assume. Don't let pity blind you. These street girls are dangerous. They can never change. Richard rubbed his forehead. But Danny, she didn't look like a thief. She even asked me if I was okay. She looked different. Daniel scoffed. Different? They all pretend. That's their game. Today they act innocent. Tomorrow they disappear with your wealth. Please, my friend, I don't want to hear tomorrow that you have been scammed. Go and count that money. Until then, don't praise her. Don't trust her. Richard ended the call slowly, his mind torn in two. He trusted Daniel's wisdom. After all, they had built businesses together and survived betrayals together. But deep inside, he also remembered the way Beauty had looked at him, the way she had spoken softly, almost like someone who had a heart. He walked back to the drawer, opened the bag again, and stared at the bundles of dollars. They were still there, shining like temptation. Could it be true, he asked himself. Could there still be honest girls in this world? Richard sighed deeply. He decided he would take Daniel's advice. He would go to the bank, not because he fully believed she stole, but because he wanted to be sure. Richard came back home later in the day after depositing the money at the bank. He sat in his study quietly, his mind still heavy with thoughts. The money was complete, he said to himself. She saw it, yet she didn't touch it. In this world, where even trusted people betray, that girl left everything. Her kind is rare. He knew he couldn't just forget about Beauty. He had to see her again. He had to reward her for her honesty. I must find her, Richard whispered. She deserves more than $200. If I let her go like this, I will never forgive myself. He waited impatiently for night to come. His phone kept buzzing with calls from business partners, but he ignored them. For the first time, business didn't matter. Money didn't matter. What mattered was finding the girl who had shown him honesty in a world full of lies. When darkness finally covered the city, Richard changed into a simple shirt and jeans. He didn't want to attract too much attention. He took his black car and drove straight to the same street where he had first met Beauty. The street was busy as usual. Richard parked and stepped out, looking around carefully. But Beauty was not there. His eyes fell on Stacy, who was standing under a streetlight, waiting for customers. The moment she saw Richard, she smiled and walked up to him quickly. "Good evening, sir," Stacy said, her voice sweet. "You came back." "I knew you would." "Do you want company tonight?" Richard shook his head. "No, I'm not here for you. I came to see Beauty. Do you know where she is?" Stacy's smile disappeared for a moment, but she forced it back. "Beauty? Forget her. She doesn't know how to take care of men. I can give you better. Spend your time with me. You won't regret it." Richard frowned. "No, I told you I came for Beauty. Where is she? When will she be around?" Stacy moved closer, trying to touch his arm. "Why waste your time on her? Look at me. I'm fresher, I'm finer, and I know how to make you happy. Beauty is nothing compared to me." Richard pulled his hand away firmly. "I'm not interested. I want Beauty. Tell me when she will come." Stacy's voice turned sharp. "I don't know where she is." And even if I did, why should I tell you? You're disturbing me from serious customers. If you don't want me, then leave. Don't stand here wasting my time. Richard looked at her calmly. So you don't know when she will return? I said I don't know, Stacy snapped. Go away and stop blocking my business. Richard sighed and turned back to his car. As he drove off slowly, his mind was filled with determination. I will find her. Even if it takes time, I will find her. Girls like her are not common behind him, Stacy hissed bitterly. She muttered under her breath. So this rich man came back for beauty. That foolish girl doesn't even know what she has. She should have stolen his money that night. Now he's here looking for her like she's some queen. I must watch closely. Maybe I can turn this to my advantage. Just a few minutes after Richard drove away, Beauty walked slowly into the street. She looked tired but calm. She had been running errands during the day and came late. Stacy saw her immediately, but she did not mention that Richard had just been there asking for her. Instead, she quickly changed her expression, pretending to be worried. Beauty, my friend, Stacy said in a serious tone, you know what I just found out about that billionaire you went to his house that night? Beauty looked surprised. What did you find out? Stacy leaned closer and whispered, somebody told me he is a ritualist. They say he uses young girls for rituals. You are lucky to be alive, Beauty. Please don't ever go back there again. Never. I am begging you, my friend. Beauty's heart jumped. Fear spread across her face. Jesus. Stacy, are you serious? I'm very serious, Stacy replied firmly. I can never lie to you about something like this. If you love your life, stay far away from him. He may be rich, but his wealth is not clean. Don't allow your blood to be wasted. Beauty quickly held Stacy's hands. Thank you, Stacy. You saved my life. I will never go back there again. Thank God I have not even used the money I took from his house that night. I still have it with me. I must take it to my pastor so he can pray over it. Who knows what evil is tied to it? Stacy's eyes shone with greed, but she quickly hid it. She smiled sweetly. Don't bother yourself, Beauty. You don't need to trouble your pastor. Just give me the money. I know someone who can handle it. He will cleanse it and make it safe. Trust me. Beauty hesitated for a moment, but Stacy squeezed her hand. Please, give it to me. Don't hold that kind of money in your bag. It may bring bad luck. Beauty sighed, then reached into her purse. She brought out the exact money she took from Richard's house that night. Here, take it. I don't even want to keep it. I have had enough for today. I'm going home to rest. Good, Stacy said, forcing a smile as she collected the money. Beauty smiled faintly. Thank you, Stacy. You really saved my life. I don't know what I would have done without you. She turned and walked away slowly, disappearing into the darkness. The moment she left, Stacy's face changed. Anger and jealousy filled her heart. She squeezed the money in her hands, talking to herself bitterly. So a wealthy man is coming after this Beauty? This ugly Beauty? What about me? Am I not more classy than her? Am I not more beautiful than her? What do men see in her? She hissed loudly, pacing up and down. Every time it is Beauty. The best men always look at her. The rich ones always notice her. And to think I was the one who brought her to this street. I gave her a place to stand, and now she wants to rise above me. Never. This girl must not get in touch with that rich man again. I will do everything within my power to block her. I will make sure she never meets him again. She doesn't deserve him. I deserve him. That billionaire should be mine, not hers. I don't care what it takes. I will fight her with everything I have. Stacy clenched her fists, her jealousy burning like fire. She slipped the money into her own purse and muttered again, "From today, this is war. Beauty, you will regret ever crossing my path. I will never allow you to take what should be mine." The night grew darker. Somewhere across the city, Richard sat in his mansion, still thinking about Beauty, planning how to return and find her. 2 days passed quickly, but Richard could not get Beauty out of his mind. He had gone back to the street twice, but she was not there. Each time, his heart grew more restless. On the 3rd day, fate stepped in. Richard drove to a large supermarket on the island to buy a few things himself. Normally, his staff handled shopping, but that day he wanted to be alone. As he pushed his trolley through the aisle, his eyes caught a familiar face. It was her. Beauty. Richard's heart skipped a beat. It's her, finally. He walked toward her slowly, but the moment Beauty saw him, her face changed. She turned quickly as if to walk away. "Beauty, wait," Richard called. She didn't stop. She moved faster, almost running. Richard dropped his trolley and rushed forward, blocking her path. "Please, stop," he said gently. "I've been looking for you." Beauty frowned, her eyes cold. "Why?" "I have nothing to do with you. Leave me alone." Richard blinked in surprise. "Nothing to do with me?" "Beauty, I came back to that street looking for you. I wanted to thank you. Do you know how rare you are? You saw money that could have changed your life, but you didn't touch it. Girls like you don't exist anymore. You are rare." But Beauty shook her head firmly. "No, sir. I don't want to hear it. My friend told me the truth about you. She said you are a ritualist, that your money is blood money. She said I'm lucky to still be alive. Please don't ever come near me again." Richard stared at her for a long moment, then suddenly burst out laughing. It wasn't mocking laughter, it was disbelief. He shook his head and laughed again. "Beauty, you are funny," he said. "You are acting like a baby." "A ritualist? Really? Do I look like someone who needs to use human blood for wealth?" "That's nonsense." Beauty frowned. "That's what my friend told me. She said you are dangerous." Richard stepped closer, lowering his voice. "Let me tell you something. That same friend of yours, what's her name again? Stacy, right?" Beauty's eyes widened. "How do you know?" Richard smiled faintly. "Because I met her. The night I came back looking for you, she tried to seduce me. She begged me to go home with her. She wanted me, not you. But I refused. I told her clearly I was looking for you. I had no interest in her." Beauty looked shocked. She never told me that." "Of course she didn't," Richard said calmly. "Do you know why? Because she is jealous of you. She doesn't want you to have anything good. That's why she lied to you. She doesn't want you to see me again. She wants to keep you down on the street while she moves up. But Beauty, listen to me. Don't let lies control your life." Beauty's lips trembled. She wanted to speak, but no words came out. Her heart was confused. Could Stacy really lie to her? Could she be jealous? Richard softened his tone. "I came here today by chance, but maybe it's not chance. Maybe it's destiny. I wanted to find you, to thank you, and to tell you that you are not like other girls. You are special." Beauty swallowed hard, still unsure. "I don't know what to say," she whispered. Richard smiled gently. "Don't say anything now. Just give me a chance to prove that I'm not who your friend says I am. Let me show you that I respect you. That's all I ask." Beauty lowered her eyes. "I don't know if I can trust you." Richard replied softly, "Then don't trust my words. Watch my actions. Time will show you the truth." For a moment, silence hung between them in the supermarket aisle. Finally, Beauty sighed. "I need to go. I will think about it." Richard nodded. "That's all I ask. Think about it. And Beauty, please stay safe. Don't let anyone kill your dreams." She walked away slowly, her mind filled with questions. Behind her, Richard stood watching, a small smile on his lips. Beauty left the supermarket still thinking about what Richard had said. His laughter when she called him a ritualist kept ringing in her ears. He looked so confident, so calm. Could Stacy have lied to me? Beauty asked herself. Why would she say such a thing if it was not true? Later that night, Beauty walked faster until she reached the street. Stacy was standing at her usual spot, busy with her phone. "Stacy," Beauty called. Stacy turned and smiled. "Ah, my friend, you are back. How are you?" Beauty's eyes narrowed. She dropped her basket and crossed her arms. "Why did you lie to me?" Stacy looked confused. "Lie? What lie?" "About Richard," Beauty said sharply. "You told me he is a ritualist. You said I should never go near him again. But I saw him today. He told me you were lying. He even told me you tried to seduce him when he came looking for me. Is that true?" Stacy's face changed immediately. Her smile disappeared. "What nonsense. That man is twisting everything. He is deceiving you, Beauty. Can't you see? He wants to turn you against me so he can use you and dump you." Beauty shook her head slowly. No, Stacy. His eyes were clear, his words were calm, he didn't sound like someone lying. Why didn't you tell me he came to look for me? Why did you hide it from me? Stacy hissed. So you believe him more than me? Me, your friend, I warned you because I love you. If you want to be foolish, go ahead, but don't come crying to me when that man destroys you. Beauty frowned and said firmly, if you really loved me, you would not lie to me. I will find out the truth myself. I don't need your warnings anymore. She walked away, leaving Stacy standing there, burning with anger. Foolish girl, Stacy muttered under her breath. So now you want to believe him more than me? We shall see. Beauty, you will regret this. Meanwhile, at Richard's mansion, he was sitting with his best friend, Daniel. Richard looked unusually happy, a rare smile on his face. Daniel raised an eyebrow. Richard, what's going on with you? You've been smiling since I came. Tell me the secret. Richard leaned forward. Danny, I think I've found her. Found who? Daniel asked. My wife, Richard said simply. Daniel was surprised. What? Wife? Don't tell me you are talking about that street girl again. Yes, Richard replied calmly. Her name is Beauty. She is different. She is not like others. I can feel it. My heart tells me she is the one. Daniel frowned. Richard, are you hearing yourself? You, a billionaire, talking about marrying a roadside prostitute? Never. I will not support this madness. Richard shrugged. That's your business. You are not my parents. You are my friend. But when it comes to my heart, I will decide for myself. Daniel frowned. You are too soft. Women will destroy you one day. Think of your reputation, your family name, your company. How will people respect you if you bring such a woman into your life? Richard leaned back and smiled faintly. Let them talk. People will always talk. But I know what I feel. Beauty is rare. Her honesty touched me more than all the wealth I have ever seen. I would rather marry a woman who has nothing but honesty than one who has everything but loyalty. Daniel shook his head in frustration. Richard, I don't know what spell this girl has cast on you. But I'm telling you, this is a big mistake. Richard looked him straight in the eye. That's your opinion. But remember, you are not my God, and you cannot choose my wife for me. 2 days later, Richard invited Beauty to his house. He wanted to see her again, not just for a short meeting in a supermarket, but properly, in his home. Beauty was nervous, but she agreed. When she arrived, Richard welcomed her warmly. They sat together in the large living room. For a moment, Beauty just looked around quietly. Everything looked expensive, but peaceful. Richard looked at her directly and said, Beauty, I want you to stop that work. Stop standing on the street. From today, I want to marry you. Beauty's eyes opened wide in shock. What? Marry me? No, Richard, this can't work. Your family, your friends. What will they say? They will laugh at you. They will laugh at me. I am a street girl. I don't deserve you. Richard shook his head. I don't care what they say. I don't live for them. I live for myself. My heart chose you. That is all that matters to me. Beauty's voice shook. You don't even know me. You don't know my story. I have a dirty past. People will use it against you. People will mock you. Richard leaned closer. I know enough. I know that you are honest. I know you had the chance to steal, but you didn't. I know you are rare. That is more than enough for me. Beauty, I love you. Her lips trembled. Slowly she whispered, I love you too, Richard. I really do. But I am afraid. Don't be afraid, he said softly. We will face it together. At that moment, Beauty knew she could not fight her feelings anymore. She nodded slowly. Then yes, I will marry you. Richard smiled, held her hands and said, You won't regret this. A week later, Richard decided to introduce Beauty to his closest friend, Daniel. He wanted Daniel to see her, to understand why he had chosen her. Daniel came to the mansion. Beauty sat politely on the couch. She greeted him with respect. But the moment Daniel saw her face, his expression changed. Richard, Daniel said slowly, do you know who this girl is? Yes, Richard replied calmly. This is Beauty, the woman I want to marry. Daniel laughed bitterly. Beauty? You must be joking. I know her very well. 2 of my friends have slept with her before. She is not the kind of woman you marry. She belongs to the street. I cannot support this." Beauty's face fell. Her heart pounded with shame. "I don't care," Richard said firmly. "Yes, maybe she has a past. But her past is not my business. What matters is who she is now, and I know she is honest. I know she is real. That is enough for me." Daniel frowned. "Richard, you are blind. How can you bring shame to your family like this? Your mother will never allow this." Richard looked him in the eye and said calmly, "That is my choice, not yours." "You are my friend, Daniel, but you cannot choose my wife for me." Daniel shouted angrily. "Fine. If you won't listen to me, I will tell your mother myself. She will stop you." That evening, Daniel went straight to Richard's mother. He explained everything, how her son wanted to marry a roadside girl, how people in the city already knew her, how shameful it would be for the family. Richard's mother listened quietly. She didn't interrupt. When Daniel finished, she remained calm. She folded her hands slowly and said in a low voice, "I will call my son." Daniel then left angrily, because he had expected her to be so mad at her son. Richard was in his study when his phone rang. It was his mother. He knew immediately that Daniel had gone to her. He took a deep breath and answered. "Hello, Mum." Her calm voice came through the line. "Richard, I need to ask you something, and I want you to answer me honestly." "Do you really love this girl?" Richard replied. "Yes, Mum. I do. I love her with all my heart." "And does she love you back?" his mother asked. "How sure are you of her feelings?" "I don't want you to confuse pity or fear with love." Richard's voice was steady. "Mum, she loves me. I can see it in her eyes. I can feel it in her words. She is not pretending. She is real. Beauty is a good woman. Please, support us." There was silence for a few seconds. Richard waited nervously, expecting his mother to argue. But then she spoke softly. "If you are sure, my son, then I will not fight you. I have always taught you to follow truth, not noise. If your heart tells you this is right, then I will stand with you. You have my support." Relief filled Richard's chest. "Thank you, Mum. That means everything to me." But before the call ended, his mother added in a firm voice, "And listen carefully, Richard. If Daniel ever talks bad about that girl again, tell him to go and ask his father where he met his mother. Sometimes men forget that great women come from places they don't expect." Richard froze for a second, then smiled. He understood his mother's hidden message. She was reminding him that love is not about background. It is about destiny. "Yes, Mum," he said softly. "I will remember." They ended the call. Richard leaned back in his chair, feeling stronger than ever. His mother's support gave him courage. No matter what the world said, he knew now that he and Beauty had a future. A few days later, Beauty was walking past the old kiosk at the edge of the street. The sun was low, the evening wind was soft, and she felt light in her heart. She was learning to breathe like a new person. Daniel saw her and blocked her path. "So," he said with a cold smile, "there you are." Beauty kept her voice calm. "Good evening." "Good evening." Daniel laughed harshly. "Where are you coming from?" "Another man's house? I pity my foolish friend. I warned him, but he refused to listen." "You will disgrace him. You will finish him. That is what girls like you do." Beauty frowned. "Please, let me pass." But Daniel moved closer. His words became sharp and cruel. He called her dirty names. He sneered, "Street girl. Public toilet. Anybody can use you. You think you can be a wife? You will never be a wife. Not to my friend." A few people near the kiosk turned and looked. Beauty's face burned, but she did not cry. She took a step back, then lifted her head. Her voice was steady. "You are calling me names," she said, "but what about your mother?" Daniel blinked. "What did you say?" Beauty did not shout. She spoke slowly, each word clear. "I heard your mother was once a hookup girl before your father met her. I even heard your uncle was with her before your father met her. Still, your father did not mind. He married her. He gave her a home. He gave her a new life. How dare you speak bad of me?" Daniel's mouth fell open. Beauty continued, "Are you also not aware, foolish son of a roadside worker, that your mother once slept with your father's co-worker back then? Pot calling kettle black. You want to shame me? Go and ask your frustrated, retired, old public toilet mother what she did for a living before she met your father. You think you can shame me? Never again. I am a new person now. Old things have passed away. A hard silence spread around them. Daniel's face went white, then red. He had heard whispers in the past, quiet talk about where his father met his mother, stories from angry relatives during family fights. He never believed them. Now, hearing it from Beauty, with this calm courage, the truth cut him like a blade. He pointed a shaking finger at her. You will pay for this. Beauty did not move. Truth is not an insult, it is a mirror. Daniel's jaw tightened. I will deal with you. And I will deal with Richard. You think this will end well? Never. Beauty turned away and walked off, slow, upright and quiet. Her legs were weak, but her spirit was strong. She refused to let shame claim her again. When she reached the corner, she pulled out her phone and called Richard. Hello, love, he answered, voice warm. Richard, she said softly, I met Daniel on the street. He insulted me. He called me dirty names. He said he will deal with both of us. Richard's voice grew firm. Are you safe? Yes, people were around. He didn't touch me. I'm coming, Richard said. Tell me your exact location. No, Beauty said gently. Please don't come here. I'm already heading home. I don't want a scene. I just wanted you to know. Richard was quiet for a moment. Then he said, Thank you for telling me. I am proud of you. Go home. I'll meet you there. Okay, they ended the call. Daniel stood alone by the car, shocked and angry. His chest burned with shame. He had heard the rumors before about his mother, but he never believed them. Now, hearing it from Beauty, it felt real. His fists tightened. How dare she talk to me like that? How dare she drag my family into this? I will deal with her. I will deal with Richard. They will pay. He entered his car angrily and drove off, his mind boiling with revenge. Beauty reached home, closed the door, and sat on the edge of her bed. Her hands shook. The words she spoke were strong, but her heart was tired. She whispered a short prayer. God, help me stand. Help me stay new. She remembered the street version of herself, the one who kept quiet as men threw words at her like stones. That person was gone. She was new now, new choices, new voice, new future. Her phone buzzed. A message from Richard. I'm outside. Can I come in? She smiled a little and opened the door. Richard stepped in with quiet concern in his eyes. Are you okay? He asked. I will be, she said. He saw her shaking hands. Baby, please calm down and talk to me. She told him everything again, how Daniel blocked her, the insults, the crowd. Richard listened. When she finished, he nodded once. Thank you for defending yourself, he said. I am sorry you had to face that. None of this is your fault. Beauty looked at him. I mentioned his mother. I didn't want to, but he pushed me. Maybe I went too far. Richard took a breath. Sometimes truth cuts. Sometimes it is the only shield left. Daniel crossed the line first. Still, I will speak to him, not with anger. With boundaries, Beauty's shoulders relaxed. I don't want you to fight. I just want peace. We will choose peace, Richard said, and we will enforce peace if we must. He reached for her hand. Listen. Your past is not a weapon for anyone anymore. If they throw it, it will fall to the ground. We will keep walking. Beauty nodded, a small tear sliding down. Thank you, my love. That night, Daniel could not sleep. He remembered his father's warning years ago. Son, do not judge people's beginnings. You do not know their storms. He had rolled his eyes at that advice back then. Now it came back like thunder. He grabbed his phone and typed a long message to Richard. Wild threats, harsh words, and final lines like blades. He hovered over send, then stopped. He deleted the whole thing. He typed again, shorter, colder. You will regret this marriage. He hit send. Richard read it and put the phone face down. Empty thunder, he said quietly. Beauty looked at him. Should we reply? No, he said. Not every dog that barks deserves a stone. They sat in silence for a while. Then Richard spoke again, gently. Tomorrow we visit my mother. Beauty stiffened. Will she accept me? Richard smiled. You will find out tomorrow. The next day, they drove to Richard's family home. His mother welcomed them at the door, her eyes warm, her voice soft. "So this is Beauty," she said, looking straight into the young woman's eyes. "Welcome, my daughter." Beauty bowed her head. "Good afternoon, Ma." They sat. Silence came. Then the mother asked, "Do you love my son?" "Yes, Ma," Beauty said, "with truth." "Will you walk in the light with him?" the mother asked again. "No hiding. No lying. No running back to the past when the present is hard." "I will, Ma," Beauty said, "by God's help." The mother nodded. "Good. In this house, we do not worship people's opinions. We honor truth and growth. Your past is a river behind you." Face forward, Beauty's eyes filled relief. "Thank you, Ma." The older woman patted her hand, then turned to Richard. "As for Daniel, if he brings one more insult into this matter, tell him to go and ask his father where he met his mother. Some men forget their own history when they throw stones." When they left, Beauty leaned on Richard's shoulder in the car. "Your mother is kind." "She is wise," he said. "Wisdom is a warm kind." Beauty smiled and watched the city pass by. Same roads, new eyes. Daniel, however, was not done. Shame turned into anger. Anger looked for fuel. In his pride, he began to plan a deeper trouble. He wanted revenge. Days passed, but his anger grew stronger. One evening, he drove slowly through the street where Beauty once worked. He parked and looked around. That was when he saw Stacy standing under a streetlight, dressed in her usual flashy clothes. Daniel stepped out of his car and walked toward her. "Good evening," he said. Stacy looked him up and down suspiciously. "Good evening. Do I know you?" "No," Daniel replied with a small smile. "You don't know me." "But I know you." Her eyes narrowed. "How do you know me?" "Who told you about me?" Daniel waved his hand. "Never mind that. That's not the important issue right now. What matters is this. I heard you don't like Beauty. I heard you are jealous of her, that you want to take her place. Am I right?" Stacy hissed. "Beauty. Don't even call her name near me. That girl thinks she is better than everybody. She acts innocent, but she is not. I dislike her. Yes, I wanted Richard before, but he chose her. I don't care about him anymore. He is too proud. But Beauty, she annoys me. If you also don't like her, then you are speaking my language." Daniel's smile grew wider. "Good. That's what I wanted to hear. Then we can work together. Let's deal with them. Let's finish this once and for all. I have very dangerous men. They can silence them forever. They will be gone in seconds. No one will ever know." Stacy's lips curled into a wicked smile. "Then let's do it. I am ready." The two shook hands, sealing a plan filled with hatred. They thought they were wise, but evil blinds. The following week, Daniel and Stacy left in a black SUV late at night to meet the men Daniel had spoken about. They drove fast on the express road, whispering about their wicked plans. Stacy smiled wickedly. "Finally, someone who thinks like me. That Beauty girl has been annoying me for too long. Everywhere I turn, it's Beauty this, Beauty that." "I'm tired of her face." Daniel gripped the steering wheel. His voice was sharp. "And I'm tired of watching my friend throw away his dignity for her. If we can't stop him with words, then we stop him another way." The SUV roared down the expressway. The night was dark, but the road was clear. Daniel drove faster, his anger fueling his speed. "You know," Stacy continued, "Richard could have chosen me. I even offered myself to him. But he refused. He said he wanted Beauty. Beauty of all people. I swear, it's like she used some charm on him." Daniel's eyes burned. No, she didn't charm him. She fooled him with her fake innocence. But tonight we start the end of both of them. They laughed bitterly together, but fate had another script. As they approached a sharp bend, the brakes failed. Daniel pressed hard, but the car did not stop. The tires screeched, the engine roared, and the SUV spun out of control. In seconds, it crashed into a concrete barrier. Both Daniel and Stacy died instantly. Their wicked plans ended with them. A month later, the story was different. The church was filled with music and joy. Flowers lined the aisle. Beauty walked slowly in a white gown, her face glowing with tears of happiness. Richard stood waiting at the altar, his smile brighter than ever. When she reached him, he took her hands. "You see, I told you, no one can stop what God has joined together." Beauty smiled through her tears. "I love you, Richard. I will love you for the rest of my life." The pastor joined them as husband and wife. The guests clapped loudly. Some had doubted, some had mocked, but now they could only admire. Richard and Beauty kissed, sealing their union. From that day, they lived happily, proving to the world that honesty, truth, and real love always win in the end.